This update is sponsored by Alita Battle Angel. From visionary filmmakers James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez comes Alita Battle Angel, an epic adventure of hope and empowerment. It's in theaters February 14th. Get tickets at AlitaTickets.com. Welcome to The Know, I'm Brian. Okay, so let's start off by talking about the gigantic bummer that happened late yesterday. Of course, I'm talking about the layoffs at Activision Blizzard. This was one of the biggest layoffs to hit the gaming industry in recent memory. More than 780 people lost their jobs, which is about 8% of the entire workforce across Activision. So we've been hearing rumors about this for a while, but yesterday the hammer finally dropped when Blizzard president J. Allen Brack sent a note to employees that was obtained by Kotaku. Brack wrote, "Currently, staffing levels on some teams are out of proportion with our current release slate. This means we need to scale down some areas of our organization." Now, the layoffs, they hit non-development teams the hardest, and it is across a number of subsidiaries, including Blizzard and King, and of course Activision. Kotaku said that at Blizzard, employees were laid off from departments that weren't directly involved with game development. Publishing and esports in particular had a bunch of layoffs. Brack said that those affected will get severance packages that'll include job placement help as well as health benefits. Hey, some other studios could take some note from that. So those layoffs were confirmed later on Tuesday when Activision Blizzard reported fourth quarter earnings. They big time missed expectations, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. Activision said that it expects to bring in just over $6 billion in revenue this year. Sounds like a lot, but that's almost $1.5 billion less than 2018, so that is a steep decline. Activision chief executive Bobby Kotick, who, just FYI, made more than $28 million personally in 2017, said that the company didn't realize our full potential. And then he went back to counting his money. Like we said, there have been signs of trouble for a while now. Gamers were furious with Blizzard in November with the whole Diablo Immortal announcement. Then the CFOs, as chief financial officers for both Activision and Blizzard, left the company last month. Then Bungie announced that it was splitting up with Activision and taking Destiny with it. Another huge issue, of course, is Fortnite. It's free to play, and investors want that duplicated from companies like Activision, especially after EA released its own free-to-play hit, Apex Legends, basically follows the same model as Fortnite. All of that has taken eyeballs and players away from Activision Blizzard games like Black Ops 4 and Overwatch. The analyst Michael Pachter told the Los Angeles Times that Activision should follow the lead of Epic and EA and make the blackout mode from Black Ops 4 free. As for the rest of the year, it does not sound like they have anything major in the pipeline. Activision's new chief financial officer, Dennis Durkin, told investors, "We are not planning a major frontline release for Blizzard in 2019. But it does sound like they're going to invest more in development teams for future stuff." Execs said they are going to boost developers working on key franchises by 20% this year. They really seem to try to reassure investors that they're going to make more games, just not this year. Activision Chief Operating Officer Cody, two D's in there. Cody Johnson said the Overwatch team is growing as it focuses on delivering a significant development pipeline in the coming years. He also said they're investing in other Warcraft games and that the Diablo team will also grow. Johnson added, "The teams are working on several projects for the franchise as well as the global launch of Diablo Immortal." Still though, no matter how you slice it, this is awful news. You gotta feel bad for the folks who lost their jobs. Speaking of Activision, during that earnings call, they said that despite the layoffs, that there will be a new Call of Duty game this year from developer Infinity Ward. Of course, Activision rotates development of Call of Duty games between Treyarch, Sledgehammer, and Infinity Ward, which is known for making a lot of the Modern Warfare games as well as Infinite Warfare. Activision did not give a lot of details on the new Call of Duty game, but said that it will have a campaign unlike Black Ops 4 as well as multiplayer. All right, on to more news. Apparently Sony, they're still being dicks about crossplay. This comes from the developer of Wargroove, the excellent strategy game that's out now for Switch, PC, and Xbox One. It's coming later for the PS4. So recently, Sean Layden, the chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, was asked about the crossplay issue by Game Informer, and he blamed developers for this. Ah, yes, the old stop hitting yourself defense. My big brother knew that well. Layden talked about crossplay on Fortnite and Rocket League, which Sony was good enough to allow, and he said, people keep saying, why doesn't Sony allow more people to have it? We're open for business on this one. All it takes is for publishers and developers who wish to permission it. As ever, just work with your PlayStation account manager, and they will walk you through the steps that we've learned through our partnership with Epic Games on how this works.
Bullshit!
Yeah, the CEO of Chucklefish, Finn Bryce, immediately called bullshit on that, much like Aaron just did. He posted on Reset Era, we made many requests for crossplay, both through our account manager and directly with higher-ups, all the way up until release month. We were told in no uncertain terms that it was not going to happen. He went on to say, from our side, we can literally toggle a switch and have it working. Of course, policy work might be more complicated for Sony. Just wanted to provide some balance on the issue and say that it certainly isn't a question of developers having not contacted their account managers or having dropped the ball. We were told no. So there you go. It sounds like Sony, they're trying to be publicly cool with crossplay. Hey, we want to be cool with everybody. But privately, they're like, fuck you. No, you're not doing it.
Why not just say the truth? Just be like, hey,
because
no.
the truth is that they're being dicks about it.
Right.
And they don't want people to know.
Sony, come on.
Anyway, reviews for Metro Exodus are in and they are looking decent. It's got an 83 on OpenCritic and an 80 on Metacritic. Good but not great territory, I would say. IGN said the third installment in the Metro series, quote, takes the fear-inducing formula of the series and transplants it into expansive, sandbox-like levels without losing any of the oppressive tension that makes the Metro games memorable and distinctive among post-apocalyptic first-person shooters. They added 8.5 too much snow. I will never stop making that joke, ever. Destructoid was not as impressed, though, saying that the game's thrills and chills are irritatingly tempered with menial tasks, poor voice acting, dull stealth, and a soulless hero. Goddamn, Destructoid, all of which prevent Metro Exodus from achieving its true potential. And Stevivor says it feels like a solid simulacrum of someone else trying to make a Fallout game. They added, its maps are fun to explore and effort has been put into making the side areas rewarding in both narrative expansion and bonus upgrades to your gear. That said, Exodus doesn't have the same handle on ambient storytelling and visual interest to drive you to investigate every corner of the map. See, this is why I don't review video games. I've never used the phrase ambient storytelling in my life. My reviews would just be like, I liked it. That would be my review. Anyway, Metro Exodus is out Friday for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Epic Games Store. All right, that's all the news we've got for you today. Let us know what you think about all these stories down in the comments below. And for all your news from every corner of the internet, like this video, subscribe to The Know. See you tomorrow. We got some news for you.
Oh, don't we ever.
Yep. Got some news. This update is sponsored by Alita Battle Angel. From visionary filmmakers James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez comes Alita Battle Angel, an epic adventure of hope and empowerment. I personally love Robert Rodriguez. I'm stoked he's directing this. He has made some of my favorite movies ever. Desperado, Sin City, and the action sequences in Alita Battle Angel look so dope. And James Cameron produced and co-wrote the screenplay. Cannot go wrong with that team. Okay, so the movie, of course, centers around Alita, who awakens with no memory of who she is in a future world she doesn't recognize. Then, she's taken in by a doctor played by the great Christoph Waltz, who realizes that somewhere in this abandoned cyborg shell is the heart and soul of a young woman with an extraordinary past. Alita, she learns to navigate her new life on the treacherous streets of Iron City, but when the deadly and corrupt forces that run the city come after Alita, she discovers a clue to her past. She has unique fighting abilities that those in power will stop at nothing to control. Like I said, the action, it really looks tight. I watched the motorball scene recently. That is worth the price of admission alone. Some of those sequences are just amazing. Alita Battle Angel is in theaters February 14th. Get tickets at AlitaTickets.com.